Well, hello everybody. I'm still making my way across the country back to California. And you know, last time we were really batting 1,000 through Ohio. But at the moment, I'm getting so tired, I don't even think I can lift the bat. Especially not a bat this huge. Would you look at the size of that bat? 120 feet tall and 34 tons of sheer striking power make this the largest bat in the world. Look at the size of that. Holy cow. That right there is the Louisville Slugger Factory and Museum. And of course, since I am alone and defenseless, I was hoping to pick up a Louisville Slugger of my own, direct from the source. Sadly though, at the moment, the museum, store, and factory, I think, are closed. It's about closing time for me as well. It was hard work jogging through Ohio like that in a car. Now, if you haven't figured it out already, we are in fact in Louisville, Kentucky. And if there's three things we all know about Kentucky, it's that they love horses, baseball, obviously, and bourbon. I still have a little too much driving to do to go get some Evan Williams from down the road or some other Kentucky bourbon. And apparently it's too late in the day for science as well. But I just wanted to come and take a peek at something as I was admiring these beautiful buildings. And for some reason it seems like every city in Kentucky I've ever been to has these beautiful buildings. And anyway, as I was admiring all of them, I couldn't help but notice this guy. Look at that, it's a giant statue of David, a golden statue of David. And of course, he's wearing his mask. Look, he's got a black mask, I got a black mask. We're like mask brothers. Dude, look at the size of him compared to that normal guy down there. What the heck? I love how he will wear a mask gladly, but he still won't wear any pants. You know, they say if you got it, flaunt it. I'm not sure he has it, but he's flaunting it, all right. All right, and off we go, back to the car. And I'll be back someday, Bourbon District, back to get my own bat. Wait a minute, before we leave, I should probably pull over and see the other world's largest bat. After all, it's only a block ahead. Oh, see? The other world's largest bat. That is pretty cool. Don't know why he's above a wig store. Oh, I see, it's wigs and novelties. Well, the giant bat, it's a novelty, all right. Unlike the other one, I think this one could probably suck your blood. Ooh, speaking of which, it's actually kind of starting to get dark. Whoa. And yeah, he looks friendly now, but you don't want to meet him at night. All right, sorry to make such quick work of Louisville if that is your favorite place on the world. But one very important thing, and this is not a joke, when you're driving across country is don't drive when you're really tired. I'm not currently really tired, but I have been driving all day and I know my limits, so I got to get on the road and get into a nice hotel, hopefully, and get a little bath going before sleepiness comes. Also, I haven't had a full meal since California, so probably time to get that done too. Oh, dang it, that was the other thing. Kentucky Fried Chicken, how could I forget about that? I wonder if people in Kentucky love KFC, or they're like, yes, Kentucky Fried Chicken, that's where we're from. It's a fine Kentucky morning, my friends. I haven't said that in a long time, if ever. And check this out. We are standing in front of the Wigwam Village #2. When's the last time you slept in a wigwam? We made it all the way to Horse Cave, Kentucky, where I planned to sleep in a wigwam last night. Unfortunately, this Wigwam Motel happens to be closed. There were several Wigwam Motels across the country at one point, but this is one of the originals. The first one was built, I think, just a few miles north of here by a guy named Frank Redford in the 1930s. And as far as I know, it is one of only 3 that still exist. There is this one of the originals, and then 2 along Route 66, which were basically franchises. Each of these little concrete cones is actually its own little motel room. And of course, they're teepees, not actually wigwams. But I guess back in the 30s, who could tell, right? And what makes this Wigwam Motel, this Wigwam Village #2 as it's known, so special is that not only can you still sleep in a concrete teepee here, you know, when it's open, but this is the only surviving Wigwam Village that has kept its original giant teepee office intact. The one in California built an addition onto the front of it, sort of an office addition, and the one along Route 66 in Holbrook, Arizona, replaced replaced its office entirely with a more traditional gas station type structure. I believe this wigwam village also at one point served fuel. If I'm not mistaken, you can still see where the gas pumps would have been right here on this little island along the highway in front of the office. What is particularly cool, to me anyway, is that not only has that original office structure, giant wigwam survived, but it is still flanked on either side by the original restroom wigwams. Dude, that is so cool. This one, I believe, used to have a restaurant, of course, and it had fuel, so you could stop for gas. And even if you couldn't sleep in a teepee, you could still pee in one. Oh, how cool is that? This one is the men's room. Kind of wish it was open right now, actually. That is so awesome. That is one old plaque and one old door. I believe this one was built in 1933, so quite a while ago. Almost looks like it might have its original playground equipment down there. It is on my bucket list to sleep at this third and final Wigwam Motel. Unfortunately, it's closed until March 1st, apparently, because it's under new management, so it's undergoing restoration, refurbishment, which is a good thing, because what would America look like without our wigwam villages? It's a little spooky wandering around here by myself. Looks like the owners or managers have a house attached to the property back there. So I'm assuming they can see that I'm out here and see what I'm doing, and no one's come out with a shotgun yet. So I imagine we're okay, at least for the moment. This is so cool. Look at this. There's a driveway behind here, and you could park your car right there behind the wigwam, which is also very different from the other ones that I've stayed in where you pull up in the front. This is actually a lot nicer because you have all this grass out here. It's pretty cool. I love that there's so many old-fashioned light fixtures, that they've kept this place pretty intact. I mean, look at these old louvered doors, those old school windows. Let me tell you, man, it is a trip to stay in one of these things. Well, we couldn't go full bucket list because I didn't get to spend the night here. So I guess I'll just have to make my way back to Cave City one of these days. But at least I did see it for myself and touch it, so there you go. Cave City, Kentucky has been quite the tourist destination ever since the 1930s because of what is now Mammoth Cave National Park, which is quite close by. The literature calls it the largest cave in the world, although I think it's more accurate to say it's the longest cave in the world. Maybe we'll find out. So anyway, Cave City is full of all kinds of crazy attractions, which I think for the most part aren't open in the winter, at least on cold, soggy weekdays like today. And of course, the pandemic adds another layer of uncertainty. For example, I'm not 100% sure they're doing any cave tours right now. There's a reservation system. It may be too late to get one, you know, the day of. But as long as I'm in Cave City, I might as well give it a shot. I love tourist towns, and the more random, the better. And I'll tell you one thing, this place looks like it'd be a lot of fun when the temperature's a little higher. Got the Wigwam Motel, Country Peddler, ooh, the Catfish Shack, and what the heck is this? There's a huge building up on that hill that says Guntown Mountain. Sounds like my kind of place. Ooh, here's a road for you. Looks like they've got a bunch of other caves over here, but this one is closed. What the heck is this? Oh, it's Guntown Mountain. Okay, that is awesome looking. Look at that. Haunted hotel, a giant souvenir shack. Unfortunately, all of this looks to be very, very closed. Look at that. That little sign says gunfights, can show, music shows, Nerf wars. And then over here you can see a terrifying looking cable car, which I assume leads up to their Wild West town. Look at that hand-painted sign right there. Revive the Old West. Dude, I love it. I don't see any people here. I've seen a couple of deer running around. Well, looks like Guntown Mountain will have to wait. I guess I can't really blame him. I mean, we're talking about central Kentucky during a pandemic in the winter. It's really cold out here. Probably not a lot of tourists coming by during the weekdays. All right, well, the one thing I know is open, or at least I think I know is open, is the national park itself. And even if I can't get in the cave at all today, I still think it's probably worth going, especially because another thing that's recently been added to my bucket list is, of course, visiting all of the national parks, at least in the contiguous United States. You know, because the Alaskan ones might be a little different, so at least the ones in the lower 48. Plus, I need to renew my parks pass anyway, so Might as well cruise down. Holy cow.
Hang on. We gotta pull over for this.
They've got a Jellystone here. Jellystones are Yogi Bear themed campgrounds that used to be quite common. Looks like in better weather, this one has a water slide and golf carts and all this cool stuff.
But the reason I pulled over is because of this guy right here.
Look at that. It's a giant Yogi Bear. Oh, that is a fun pick opportunity. Cheese!
Hey, don't you mean a pick-a-nick basket?
Oh, you're right. Picnic basket! I've never actually camped at a Jellystone resort, but one of these days I've got to do it. All right, moving on. Wow, the road to get out here is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. It must have passed a half dozen other attractions and a dozen resorts, little roadside rock shops and such, but okay, I think we're almost there. Okay, yeah, we've entered the park boundary now. Look at this. There is not another soul around for miles, apparently. I haven't seen another car in a while. That's the thing, even if I can't get in the cave, the park is huge and totally worth seeing. It's beautiful. Love to see it in the summertime. Although I'm assuming you wouldn't be able to see as far into the woods as I'm currently doing. All right, bam. We made it. And it looks like we don't have the place as much to ourselves as I thought. Still, though, for any national park, that's not very many people. Crazy. These signs are pretty cool. Ooh. So spooky and empty in here. Okay, so good news. Because it's so spooky and empty, they have something they almost never have. They had some same-day tickets left, which is awesome because I prefer not to come back and do it, you know, like this with all those people. The bad news is the cave tours are pretty long. I think over an hour, and mine doesn't leave for another hour. I really should have bought some soda this morning. Luckily, I have some food. I mean, it's going to turn my mouth blue, but still, it's something. Turns out the cave is super long. 365 miles at least of discovered passageways. And according to the brochure, Americans have been coming in here since at least the 1790s. Being from California, I forget how certain parts of the country are significantly older than where I'm from. And of course, the Native Americans were roaming around in the cave long before that. But the cave is so old that they had saltpeter mines in there where they were taking out saltpeter, which you used to make gunpowder before the War of 1812. And there were slaves working in the mine, and slaves that were some of the early tour guides. So people have been coming out here for a long, long time. Enough people, and long enough ago, that they actually had a Mammoth Cave railroad. Look at that thing. That's the engine. Wow, dude. They had these trains back in 1886. Looks like it'd be kind of fun to drive. That is awesome. Now, caves aren't something that I was very experienced with till the last couple of years. Of course, as a kid, I used to think, wow, caves are awesome. But the older I get and the more caves I get into, the creepier I find them to be. Caves are starting to creep me out, especially the idea of being lost in one. It's nice that they're cold in the summer and often warmer than outside in the winter and everything, but for me, the more of them that I get into, the less I want to get into them. However, Mammoth Cave, we're only going in, I think, 3/4 of a mile, maybe 1 mile, which is good because I don't like the idea of being, 300 miles into the cave. Apparently the cave itself is just the tip of the iceberg. Water eroded the cave, and then deep underneath is still an underground river. There's blind fish and all kinds of weird creatures down there. Gollum. And now, with masks on our faces and fear in our hearts, we get to find out what it looks like. All right, first our guide is going to give us a little spiel here about safety and preserving stuff, and then we head on down the trail to the cave. And boy, look at this. That escalated quickly. Quite a big tour group. Gonna be hard to socially distance. Oh, wow. Would you look at that opening down there? Oh my gosh. Well, I wanted adventure.
According to the legend, John's out in these woods and he sees a black bear. Okay, now we used to have a lot of black bear in this part of Kentucky. We don't anymore, but we did then. And so John shoots this bear. Doesn't kill it though, okay? He wounds the bear, and it runs off, and he chases it. Where do you think the bear ended up? Yeah. Right down in this cave, okay? So while John was tracking the bear, he rediscovered Mammoth Cave, and we actually named the first passageway that we're going to go through after that young bear hunter.
Apparently this entrance here is the lowest part of the cave, so I've got to watch my handsome low-hanging rocks. Wow, look at this. Awesome. Whew, as long as there's light, you know?
That's in this part of the cave.
Oh my.
It is a mine. Very good guess. So those frontier families were making their own gunpowder, partially using Mammoth Cave dirt to live off the land and to survive. Now the artifacts that you see here are over 200 years old, and they date back to the War of 1812, okay? The big wooden boxes you see here, these are leaching vats or hoppers. There's two on this side and there's one over there. And they even found prehistoric native remains. They found the bodies of these earliest cave explorers. Now when I say they found their bodies, I mean they found their entire bodies. These weren't piles of bones that the flesh had rotted off of. Okay, these were intact with skin and hair and all that stuff, okay? And it didn't take very long for word to spread about these cave mummies in Kentucky. So our first guided tour started in 1860. Okay, we've been doing trips like this over 200 years, and you all are part of that tradition today. P.T. Barnum, have you ever heard of him? He was a guy who opened up a museum up in New York or maybe Philadelphia, okay? He ended up with one. There's one at the Smithsonian Institute and maybe one at the University of Kentucky, okay? But there are still remains here in the cave. We're not going to see any today. But if you visited Mammoth Cave before 1976, you could have seen one of those prehistoric mummies on display in a glass case. It was a mummy that was found crushed under about a 7-ton rock.
Dude, this is unbelievably huge. I know the camera is not going to do it justice. You could park several Mack trucks in here. Dude, it's like the mines of Moria. Awesome.
Guys, come on in. These are some artifacts on display in these lit cases over here. Take a few moments and make your way around so you can see some of that stuff. That's a passage called Little Bad Avenue. It'll take you into deeper level cave. Questions about kind of how deep are we and how deep is the cave? We're roughly 160 feet below the surface right now.
So is the visitor center like right above us?
I don't think so. When we were at our last stop, we were under the hotel.
Oh, okay.
We were right below the coffee shop of the hotel.
So one day you're gonna have like some people's beds down there.
Hopefully not.
So I found out that the pamphlet was actually wrong. The cave is now 400 miles plus long. They keep discovering more and more parts of the cave. That is crazy. Dude, 400 miles. Would not want to get lost in here.
Ari mentioned that, you know, these passageways were formed by underground rivers, okay? Formed by water, but does anyone know what type of rock we're seeing here?
Limestone?
This is all limestone.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. This particular limestone formed in layers at the bottom of an ocean that covered this region of the country. Geologists tell us 300 to 350 million years ago.
He's just telling us that 200 feet down is where the water is. 200 more feet. Crazy.
Now, the reason Mammoth Cave is the longest cave, it's not because of the limestone, it's because of a layer of rock above the limestone that we don't see in the cave, we see it up on the surface. It's sandstone and shale. Those are also sedimentary rocks, but they didn't form from an ocean, and they're not made of calcium. They act like a roof over this cave system, and they keep Mammoth Cave dry. So most of the cave system is like this, very, very dry. If we have a lot of, if we didn't have our sandstone roof, we would have a lot more water coming in and changing the cave and potentially leading to big breakdowns and collapses. But since we've got a good sturdy roof, the cave is very, very, very well protected. Yes, sir, you've been patiently waiting for questions. Will we see some crystals? We're not going to be seeing any crystals. No, a lot of limestone.
Okay, I like this cave tour. This is about as far as we go. Not too shabby. There's light everywhere. It's warm compared to outside. And so far, no creepy creatures. Whew. Whenever they're talking about how Native Americans lived in here, I'm like, oh yeah, totally, you know. I'm picturing it with these lights on and everything. Like, why not? Just hang out. And then I realized once we're out of here, they turn the lights back off. All they had were those reed torches that we saw the little replicas of. That would not be so fun. It's like being stuck in a well with a match. Everyone's sort of starting to make their way back to the entrance now. This is wild, dude. See, this gives me a chance to come by the artifacts again. You know, Native American shoes are so sophisticated. Whenever I see preserved shoes, 2,000 years old, the originals that these were a reproduction of, they look so comfy and practical, and you're like, dang. Oh, but here's those reed torches again, the replicas. I mean, imagine having that. That's your light down here. No, thank you. I think I'll take electricity. Oh, better hurry up. I've read Tom Sawyer too many times to want to be lost in the cave. Tom Sawyer and, of course, Lord of the Rings, you know. Yikes. What are some other good cave stories like that? Look at the size of those ceilings. Man, you could put quite a sizable building down here. Look at the size of this cave. There's enough room for everybody's mother-in-law. I was just thinking about how the early Native Americans they found here were preserved almost like mummies just because the conditions of the cave. And I was thinking, if I can't get buried the way I want, and yes, I have a specific plan, it'd be pretty sweet if they just let me hang out in a cave, you know, like maybe right over here and become a mummy. I would love to be part of a tourist attraction in the afterlife. All right, luckily there's a few stragglers behind me so I can have kind of a moment here. This is awesome. I'm told during the busy season they sometimes let you do a self-guided tour of this area. I think, you know, when they're fully staffed and have rangers down here. Once again, as long as the lights were on, wow. See, if I had someone with me, you know, a couple people, kind of fun to take one of the longer tours. This is one of the shortest and easiest. But he was saying even if you took every tour down here, you'd only do about 25 miles of cave. And even our main tour guide ranger was saying he's only done about 40, maybe 45, maybe 50.
I'm still tripping out that they've found now more than 400 miles of cave down here.
400 miles, that's a long way. That reminds me, I still got a long way to go back to California. So even though now I'm kind of into being in the cave. It's not so bad down here, you know? It's probably for the best that this was a pretty short tour. Listen to that. So awesome. Oh gosh, everybody's almost gone. And I don't see the stragglers anymore. Okay, there they are. Oh, thank goodness. Not so much afraid of being lost now. There's only one way out. More afraid of them just being like, well, everyone's out and turning off the lights. Oh, all right. I made it outside of the barrier. Not getting trapped today. Holy cow, though, how cool is that waterfall? Must get crazy when it rains. I mean, that is gorgeous. And the crazy thing is, look at this. There it goes. Down into the mysterious depths. Whew. Well, at least I got my exercise today on those stairs. $15 and worth every penny. And now here comes the part where we soap up our shoes so we don't carry any white nose fungus out. Cool. Whew, that's messed up because you climb up all those stairs and think you're done, and then you gotta trudge up the hill. Okay, that makes 16 national parks, 27% done. Pretty sweet. Ooh, I'm not sure which I like less. Being down deep in a cave or being on bridges. It's funny though, I was just thinking about the cave again, and I was thinking about Allie. You know, we all have different interests, different things that stick in our brains, and different things that fall off and we don't know anything about, right? Like, I'm smart about some things, but other things, I know less than a 4th grader. Well, Allie one night revealed that she didn't really know anything about prehistoric humans or cavemen or anything like that. And so she was talking about, like, well, wait a minute, so they didn't live at the same time as dinosaurs and all that different stuff, and, you know, what language did they speak? All these strange questions. It seemed strange in the middle of the night when she was talking about it. And it dawned on me, her picture of cavemen was like the Flintstones, you know, living with dinosaurs, running around, you know, yeah, pushing the cars with the feet and all that stuff. It was pretty funny. It was a funny conversation, but I realized I've got that in my brain too, like we all sort of do. For some reason, we instantly associate ancient caves with cavemen, and we instantly associate cavemen with dinosaurs. You know, back in the day, all those early books and cartoons and things like that, I mean, we hadn't got there with science, so a lot of that was taught to people wrongly. But I think we mostly have to blame the Flintstones. Anyway, here in Kentucky, next to Mammoth Cave National Park and all these other tourist caves near Cave City, of course, they have very much capitalize on that mental association we all have. And although most of the attractions down in Cave City are closed, we are going to head back down the long and windy road again, because there's one attraction here more than any other that brings those worlds together. Welcome, my friends, back to Dinosaur World. Now I say welcome back because we've been to a Dinosaur World before. The one in Florida is owned by the same company, has a very similar entrance, but this is my first time in the second Dinosaur World in Kentucky. Of course, because of COVID-19, some of the things here are closed, but for the most part, Dinosaur World is all out in the open, and you don't have to wear a mask in the outside parts, which is quite a refreshing change, let me tell you. Guess we can't use the Dino Gym mine today, but that's okay. All the other roadside attractions might be closed, but as long as I see some gargantuan dinosaurs, I'll feel like I've done my duty. Oh, we're off to see the dinos, the wonderful dinosaurs. Ooh, look at that. I spy some dinos. Feels sort of creepy and prehistoric, you know, except for the freeway noise right there. Must look a lot junglier in the summer too, but still nice out here. Oh, well, those dinosaurs have an unusual shape, like little salamanders. Oh, and then we're getting bigger salamanders. Dimetrodon, Lily, others. I love our national parks and our historic treasures in this country, but I also love stuff like this. All it takes for me is a walking trail and something ginormous or weird or brightly colored, and I am a happy camper. Dude, look how many dinosaurs are here. This is fantastic. And it doesn't exactly hurt that I have the whole place to myself. I got the whole prehistoric world to myself. I got the whole prehistoric world to myself. Just rolls right off the tongue. Why does this one look so different? Oh! Look at that. Spared no expense. I think that whole conversation I had with Allie about dinosaurs and cavemen and whatnot, I think it all started because I was talking about how they figured out that a lot of dinosaurs had feathers, and she was saying, dinosaurs make me mad. I don't like dinosaurs anymore. What are they, giant chickens? But actually, if you've spent enough time around birds, picturing these things moving around like birds, staring at you with that soulless, hollow, creepy-eyed expression like a bird, moving like a bird, you know, all twitchy, it was kind of freaky. Birds don't care about anybody, you know. Your beloved pet chicken, he would pet you to death if he had to. Even the herbivores would probably trample you. Oh boy. Looks like they're in trouble. Looks like somebody's hungry. Somebody wants a snack, guys. They must be surrounding the little ones to protect them. Wow, dude. What a great country. We protect our open wild spaces and our caves and our bats. And we also build giant colorful dinosaurs for jerks like me to come and look at. Hey, where are you from? Yeah, what you doing in our woods?
This is our neighborhood.
Oh, I think those dinosaurs were forming a gang. I think it highly likely that this is a Hyleosaurus. Oh, dinosaur joke. Oh, I know. Dinosaur jokes get old. So old, they're prehistoric. Gosh, dang it. This is epic. Got some iguanodons over here. Not my dino. One thing I don't see that I did in Florida were some giant dinosaur eggs that you could crawl into, and I crawled in one, you know, back there. Abandoned egg! Abandoned egg! feel like I've just been born. Anyway, it didn't look like it, but crawling out of the dinosaur egg, you know, and the sharp dinosaur egg pieces on my chest, that really hurt. I bruised a rib that day, hurt my back. Being born into this world is a painful process, let me tell you. It makes me feel a lot closer to these guys. It's like I know what they've been through, you know, except for the whole asteroid part. That I hope to I never want to find out what that's like. So this Dinosaur World apparently opened in 2003. The nice lady inside told me that she thinks it's the second smallest one as well. They get smaller and smaller the newer they get. The newest one I believe is in Texas. So unless they've opened more, I've done 2 out of 3 now. Not bad. Hey, what is this? A side trail. Photosaurus! Sounds like a chance to get a fun pic! Walking through the trail, walking through the trail. Apparently the longest trail in Kentucky. So long. I don't see any Photosaurus yet. I don't see any kind of saurus unless it sees me, which means it might be a do you thinky-saurus. Oh, okay, here we go. Here's something. A mammoth garden. Wow, wait a minute. You're just walking that little circle there. Doesn't look that mammoth to me. Oh, I see. They're woolly mammoths. Yuck, 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 yuck. Yeah, I think it's things like this that help confuse people, you know, because you see woolly mammoths, and then you've seen, like, you know, Epcot where the cavemen are fighting the woolly mammoth, but here the woolly mammoths are next to the dinosaurs. They're all extinct. What's the difference? But as I understand it, I think the Dumbo's grandparents here lived long after the dinosaurs were all gone. The megafauna. I'm glad they're fake. Can you imagine how bad their poo would smell? Yeah, and then the employees would have to take a lot of crap. Okay, that's inappropriate. Sorry, kids. Sorry, kids. Shouldn't joke about poop. That's a crappy thing to do. Oh, there I go again. Okay. Wash my mouth out with soap later. I think the tour continues after the Mammoth Garden. Right over here past the bushes are the freeway, so... Oh! That must be the Photosaurus! Wow, holy cow, look at him compared to those cars! Oh my goodness, would you look at the size of that dinosaur! Wow, really wow! Imagine how much concrete that takes. Think how many patios you could have built out of this guy. But holy cow, this is a much better use. This is incredible. I just hope he doesn't go to the bathroom. Pretty darn cool, my friends. Pretty darn cool. All right, the highway is calling me. So I better get on through Dinosaur World and keep moving. 10 more minutes, just give me 10 more minutes. Whew. Oh boy, after that cave and everything, my legs are getting a little sore. All right, we're back on the trail again. Man, how the heck do you say that? Psittacosaurus! Speaking of Florida and Disney World, these things look like that bad dinosaur from the ride Dinosaur. I still never saw that Disney movie, Dinosaur. Not the Pixar one, the one that came before that. It's just called Dinosaur. I don't think anyone saw that movie. When it came out, I don't even think I realized it was a Disney movie. I feel like I grew up on a lot of dinosaur movies. Land Before Time 1 and 2, of course. Jurassic Park 1 and 2 and 3. Maybe I just felt like I hit my quota of dinosaur movies or something. I don't know. Look at this. These here are the smart dinosaurs, the smartosauruses. But as you can see, we are leaving the intelligent dinosaurs behind because we are now surrounded by a bunch of boneheads. Look, what's going on up there? This is the dinosaur equivalent of a fez or what? What purpose does that serve, being all flat-topped like that? I mean, a horn I get, you can dig with it, poke with it. What do you do with that thing? Is it weird that whenever I see like the friendlier looking dinosaurs, all I can think is how much fun it would be to ride on them? Is that just me? I got a bone to pick with you, big guy. What's the tooth on your head all about, weirdo?
Well, we only wear these at certain times.
Oh, really? What time would that be?
Tooth hurty. Tooth hurty, get it?
No, I don't get it. Hey, a dinosaur I know! Triceratops, nice. Then we got these things over here, the greenest rex and the bluest ostricus maximus. What the heck? See, yeah, look at this. This looks like an emu or an ostrich, something like that, only with long arms, little extra set of long, clawy, leggy arms there. These things are pretty big, about ostrich size. I don't know if they're built to scale or whatever. But even in human times, there was the giant moa in New Zealand, the big old bird, which could easily kill a human being. I think the Maori made them extinct. I think that's what they say. I don't know if that's true. I'm not a scientist or a doctor. I'm not even a ventriloquist, but yeah, that makes a lot more sense when you're talking dinosaurs evolving similarly to birds, something like that. Ooh, look, it's the scary, mean dinosaurs. We gotta be careful. You know what they can do with those mouths? Hurt people's feelings.
Hey man, get out of here, you got tooth free. Yeah, go back to California.
Okay, I will. Oh, Stegosaurus. Remember when your grandma would give you like a plastic dinosaur or something back in the day? And if you got Triceratops or T-Rex or one of these Taurosauruses or whatever they're called, or a Brontosaurus or Brachiosaur, whatever the heck they're called, these ones are Ultrasauruses. You know, when you got one of the iconic dinosaurs, you were like, yes! And then sometimes you'd get Stegosaurus and you'd be like, oh, like, he's cool, I guess. Does he have that little thing on his tail? Oh no, that's Ankylosaurus, I think. Alright, neat, thanks Grandma. Well, at least T-Rex had something to eat, you know. I feel like for dinosaur stuff now, you know, instead of making more dinosaur movies where we have to figure out how to get dinosaurs and humans together in the same space, maybe we could just get all of the paleontologists and all the dinosaur scientists together with some really good 3D graphics people and just start a TV show, you know, kind of like UFC for dinosaurs. Because let's face it, we would all love to see these guys go to town on each other. My money's on you, T-Rex! Dude, these things feel very, very threatening to walk underneath. Ugh. Look at the size of them. Look at his tiny little arms though. Oh, look, they can touch each other. He can clap. Oh, what a beautiful baby you have here. So cute, yeah. Looks just like his parents. It is weird to think of them having feathers. We now know that some of them had sort of like downy feathers on them, but it kind of makes sense. Look at their little stubby arms. Almost are sort of like little chicken wings, you know? Ooh, I wonder how a buffalo wing from a dinosaur would taste. Probably pretty good. Uh-oh. Oh no. It's my old enemy, the egg. But look at here, in the Kentucky one, they've solved the problem. You got a smooth birth hole. That sounded all kinds of wrong. Well, you know what I've got to do now. Ugh. Oh, finally, I've pecked my way through the egg. I can finally be... Oh. I'm stuck. This one's not big enough. Huh. Put on a little too much pandemic weight, I guess. Oh, wow.
Hey man, being born once is enough.
Well, you're right, you're right. I really was stuck in there. Well, my mom always warned me to stay out of strange eggs. All right, gang, there are a few more colorful dinosaurs here, each of them unique and beautiful. It's really cool that they have different stuff than the Florida location. Different dinosaurs and different arrangements, different trails and paths. So if you're wondering if I think it's worth it to go to both, if you've already been to the Florida one, the answer is yes. Wow, dude, look at this. Look at this dinosaur meadow they've got going on over here. That is so cool. I can see some of these from behind and the trail lower down there. How awesome is it that they arrange things so you get this big old view of the world of the dinosaurs. Wait a minute. Dinosaur World. It's all making sense to me now, Paul. All right, gang. I really do want to make it back to see the Wigwam Village. Cave City has been a place I've wanted to visit for a long, long time. So maybe next time when I come back, I'll play on the playground and go inside the dinosaur museum and go in the boneyard and check out some of the other stuff that's closed. But the cave tour took a while. Dinosaur World took a little while too. So I lost a lot more daylight than I thought I was going to. So better get on the road and finally enjoy my Dr. Pepper. Oh, thank you, Dinosaur World. I'd really like to make a stop in Texas, but in order to have enough time to really stop and do what I want, I've got to make about a 14-hour drive from here. So it is really time to get cooking. I think people on the coasts have a weird misconception of what Kentucky is actually like. I mean, sure, in the Walmart parking lot at midnight it can be everything you've ever feared, but for the most part, everybody's so friendly. It's so gorgeous and beautiful out here. There's so many fun things to see and do, so many weird and wonderful adventures to have. I can't wait to come back. Well, hot dang, my friends, we've made it to Tennessee. It's not even all the way dark yet. One step closer to home, but still like, 12 hours to San Antonio, Texas. And I might not see you until I get there. But whether I see you before or whether I see you after, remember guys, remember the Alamo. Thank you for riding with me through Kentucky. You've done your duty. Do me a favor and check out store.randomland.com and then go home and sleep well. Also, I haven't had a full meal since California,
At the light,
so
turn left
it's
onto
about
West
time.
Market
Don't tell me
Street.
how to live.
Then turn left.
So apparently, I'll just have to come back to good old Horse Cave. What is it called? Oh, weird. Look at this. I've got this whole area to myself. Yeah, I got the whole Cretaceous to myself. I got the whole dang Cretaceous to myself. This is amazing. The only guy with bigger feet than me. There's always so much walking back when you're filming yourself, you know, a little behind the scenes for you there. Hope I didn't spoil it. I'm stuck. This one's not big enough. Oh. Whew.